Hey everybody, Paradoxial here. Welcome back to our Python for Beginners tutorial. This is video 8 of our series, and in today's video we are going to go over error handling. Two new things we'll be using in this video are the try and except blocks. Now, these two blocks are very useful when handling errors in your program, and they can essentially be used so for whenever you run into an error, your program can know what to do if it runs into said error. Anyways, the try and except blocks are the only two blocks we're going to be using today. There are a couple more blocks you can use, but we're going to keep it simple and short for now. Now, the try block basically tests your code for errors, while the except block handles the said error. Now, we have two examples in today's video, one for a division calculator and one for a number entry program. Nothing really important about it, just like a little neat program to demonstrate this example. Now, for our first example, we're just going to create a small division calculator. So we're going to make two variables, and we're going to make them both inputs. Enter x. I'm going to copy and paste it. Change it to y. Change that to y. Now we're going to make answer a variable, and then make these both integers instead of just strings. And then we're going to print Now, right off the bat, this is already going to work. It's just a simple 4-line division calculator. We type in 12 divided by 4. Answer is 3. Do any valid division problem. But when we run it again and we try to take 12 and divide it by 0, we run into this nasty error, a zero division error. Now, it's pretty self-explanatory because we all know that on a calculator, and well, in real life, dividing by 0 makes 0 sense. And it just obviously does not work. You know, you get an error. Some calculators will give you a cannot divide by 0 error or a domain error, something like that around the lines. Most handheld calculators, if not all, will give you an error when trying to divide by 0. But instead of spitting out this error into our output, we want to make it do something else. We want to make it print a simple line of code that says cannot divide by 0. To do that, we're going to go at the very top of our code here. I'm going to write try. So we just created a new try block. So we want to highlight all 4 of these lines here and then press the tab button on your keyboard. This puts all these lines of code that we just created into the try block. So if you're using VS Code, you could just hit the drop down arrow to reveal or hide the code inside that block. After we are done putting the code in the try block, we're going to hit backspace and then type in except, and then the name of our error. So the name of our error was zero division error. Now you don't have to have the parentheses unless you're doing something a little bit more complex, which we will go over in a later video. So we're just going to get rid of those for now, and we're just going to put a colon. Now, we're going to print, cannot divide by 0. Now, if we try to run the code again, 12, 3, it's going to give us 4. So, of course, that works like normal. But now if we try to take 12 and divide it by 0, instead of printing out that nasty error, it's going to give us a cannot divide by 0. Now, we're going to try a different example. Instead of a division calculator, it's not going to be a calculator at all. It's just going to be a simple program that asks you to put in a number. And if the number is in numerical format, it'll work. If not, it will give you an error. So we're just going to head and remove all of that. Destroy the program there. And then we're just going to put enter a numerical number. Or actually, enter a number in numerical format. And we're going to put a little space so it looks neat in the output. Now, after that, we're going to print. We're going to actually make it an F string. Value entered. Open and close curly brackets. And we're going to put int x. Then we're going to make an accept block. Or actually, no. We're going to leave it alone for now. Oh, actually, we need to get rid of this. Sorry, guys. Alright, run again. So, 144. It'll say value entered 144. Now, instead of just, so we will just type 1. Of course, it'll work just fine. But when we try to type in 1 in letter format, it'll give us a value error. Now, of course, we don't want the nasty error. We just want to say, please enter a number in numerical format, or something along the lines. So now, what we're going to do is, we're going to go at the top again, write try, indent, exit the block, write accept, and then print. Actually, we're going to use an F string again. And put X in here without the int in front of it. It's not a valid. Or actually, we're gonna put it's not a numerical value. Please enter a numerical value. And then we're just gonna put an example of, yeah, like that. Or then, yeah. And if we want to make it look even nicer, we can just put little quotations here. So, also another thing that's good to know is you always use double quotes when using strings. So that way, if you're making messages with quotations in them, you just use the single quotes right there. Now, if we run this code, it's going to ask us to put we're just going to put 10 in numerical format. Obviously, it's going to say value entered 10 because it is taking in it as a integer. Now, if we run this again, instead of putting 10 as in 10, we will put 10, T-E-N. That's weird. It's supposed to run. There we go. We're going to type in 10. And now it's going to tell us 10 is not a numerical value. Please enter a numerical value, example 10, with the numbers instead of the letters. So, of course, there is a lot more errors within Python and even other APIs that you can use to try and accept blocks with. These are just two simple examples I wanted to show you with what you can do with them. Try and accept blocks are very easy to learn and use. They're not very complicated at all. Unless your code is a lot more bigger and more complex, of course, then it gets a little bit harder. But overall, it's pretty easy to learn. They can be used for a number of things. It doesn't have to be just printing a message in the output. If your program ever runs into an error, you can have it to where it, tries something else. Like, for an example, if it runs into the error, you can have your program coded to where it'll try to fix that error. That is a very hard thing to do, in my opinion, though, but you can do that if you have a lot of skill, of course. But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. It helps me out a ton, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Left, oh,